So basically, what are the real aliens that swirl around us? God explains there are many types of angels and demons, and here they are. First of all, angels, all of them, are supernatural, super powerful creatures. Now think about what the Bible tells us. As far as we know, they're indestructible. That's really interesting. So Frank Peretti, you don't even know him, but boy, he sold so many books in the 90s. And he talked about demons and you'd finally destroy one and they'd blow up. As far as we know from the Bible, they're indestructible, they can't be killed, they can't be destroyed. They travel the universe effortlessly. They don't need spaceships, they don't rest, they don't sleep. As far as we know, they don't even eat. Now, remember, they're not self-sufficient. God allows them to do all that. In fact, the book of Job 1 and 2 tells us that God allows demons to come in front of him, and more than that, Satan himself. And Satan comes in front of God to accuse us. Satan's introduced in the book of Job, accusing Job. Says, God, look at Job. God says, I'm watching Job. I know all about Job. What do you want to know about Job? And he says, if I make him sick, he'll curse you. If I kill his children, he'll curse you. If I make his wife mad at him, he'll curse you. And God says, you can do anything you want except kill him. And what does Satan do? What does Satan do? Satan is able to stir up a tribe of people to come through and maraud and take all of Job's flocks and kill his herdsmen. And then Satan stirs up what we would call a tornado, a violent wind that comes out of the wilderness and destroys the home where Job's 10 children are having dinner. That's like a tornado. You see, then what does he do? Satan causes physical boils, big, horrible sores all over Job's body. Did you know Satan can cause diseases? Did you know Satan controls the weather of this planet? With God's limitations, Satan is the god of this world. Ephesians 2:1 says that. He is the prince of the power of the air. Ephesians 2:2 says that. He is the one that is doing all this, and John said in 1 John 5, the whole world lies in the lap of the devil. So Satan is very powerful, but God allows him to exist. Angels, there are 5 levels of them. The Bible describes at length. Lucifer, the guardian, the anointed cherub, the cherubim. Lucifer was the highest cherub. There are many other cherubs. They're the ones with all the eyes and faces. The archangels, there are 7 archangels that always stand, Revelation tells us, facing the throne of God. 7 of them. They're shown as flames, and they're dispatched to do things. We only know 2 of them, Michael, Gabriel. Now the Jewish sages have named all of them, Raphael and Uriel and all that, but the Bible doesn't tell us that. So if it's not in the Bible, you say, oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like it's in Encyclopedia Britannica, but it's not truth from God. Then there are the seraphim. We bump into them in Isaiah 6. Literally, seraphim means the flames, and then there are just angels. But yet one angel's power exceeds anything we know humanly possible. Okay. Now, the other side, there's even more of them described. The angel of light is what Satan is now. He has as his greatest lieutenant the destroyer. We'll talk about him in just a minute. Then there are the horrible monsters of the destroyer that are going to come out of the pit in chapter 9 in a minute. Then there are the ones that are in prison, the doomed angels that got in trouble at the flood. And what they did, we're not sure of, but Peter infers they were involved in sexual sins, that they were trying to destroy the genetic, the DNA line of humanity so that Christ could not redeem them, because Jesus only died for humans, not for angels or anything else. Peter tells us about these doomed ones that are chained in prison. Daniel tells us in chapter 10 about nation princes. There's a prince of Persia. There still is a prince of Persia. They've changed the name of Persia to Iran. But Prince of Persia is not a movie. I mean, it is a movie, a Disney movie or something, but there really is an angel that is driving events in Persia or Iran. There's a prince of Greece. Boy, was he in overdrive when Alexander was expanding across the world. And on it goes. There are nation princes, that Daniel tells us about. Then Paul makes this cryptic reference to principalities and powers and rulers of the darkness of this age and spiritual hosts of wickedness. Are those all different classes, or are they just job descriptions? Are they, you know what I mean? So we don't know, but there they are. What we see is demons are highly organized in the rebellion against God. And then there are just normal demons, just like there are just normal angels. But basically, when you think about this, God is greater than the sum of everything he created. So everything they discover about the universe, everything we are discovering about the earth, and everything just now we talked about in the spiritual world, God is greater than all of that combined. But what can demons do? See, that's the big thing that most people don't ponder. Well, Revelation tells us the first thing. When demons are allowed to become predators, they can inflict tortures. So look at verse 6. In those days, men will seek death, but will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them. Why is that? Verse 5. To these creatures, they were not given authority to kill people, Revelation 9:5, but to torment them. So these are those creatures I showed you that are coming out of the pit, and they are incarcerated because they're so dangerous. I mean, normal demons are bad. They can inhabit people, control people, sicken people. When I was in seminary, I went to school with an Arizona state trooper. He was in school too, Bible school. He was an AHP, Arizona Highway Patrol. And he said they always carried their shotguns. And he said there was a man that came at them, and he had just killed someone, and the police came up, and that man came straight at them, horrible as it is, with his knife coming to attack his partner. And he had his knife, and he stabbed the partner. And this guy in Bible school said it was the awfulest thing. He said, but I just racked my shotgun. He said, I went, boom, shot him, right, the stabber. Shot him with my shotgun. And he said he turned and looked at me, and he said, and started coming toward me. So he said, he said he never stopped. He said he was so high on drugs. He was so intent on that. He said, I wasn't even a Christian. And he said, I looked in the eyes of this person, and he said it was like it wasn't a person coming at me. Well, we already know what that is. Satan came to kill and steal and destroy. His demons want to empower people to kill and steal and destroy. Our culture is grappling with the effects of drugs. What does a drug do? A drug is to open your mind so that, especially the high-end ones, so that you are in this euphoria, and so that you see things and experience things, and your mind, the most powerful part of your body that we only use like 10% of, all of a sudden all 100% of it's just going wild. Yeah, that's what drugs do. But what's the portal between the physical world and the spiritual world? The mind. That's where we seek God. That's where we pray. The connector, the portal, the cable, the HDMI that goes between earth and the spiritual world is your mind. And if you put drugs in that, and all of your normal resistance to the paranormal and supernatural gets put down, you don't have any fears, it's just like opening the doors to the demons. And there is so much connection between the effects of drugs and the demonization of people, which is going to go in chapter 9. We'll see it in just a minute.